calls up,
Right.
somebody calls the office and says, my boiler's doing blank.
Well, if your tank is not doing what it's supposed to do, then the water and the pressure has to come somewhere. It has to release somewhere. So it's just gonna be just killing your blow-off valve, because that's gonna have to do its job.
Yeah, your relief
So if you
valve.
over pressurizing, it's gonna keep spitting, sputtering, spitting,
Yeah.
you're gonna be filling up buckets.
Mhm.
If you don't have that pipe on your blow-off relief valve, I feel sorry for you, because you're gonna just mess up your walls. Because that water has to go somewhere, so you're gonna over pressurize. On a regular boiler, on steam, is another fact that we need to know. With water boilers, steam, with the blow-off relief valve are two different types. We need a 30 PSI on water, and we need a 15 PSI on steam. 15 PSI. Blow-off valve. The relief valve, pressure relief valve. This is very important. Very important, because the water boilers, they get over 30 PSI, the pressure relief valve will have to do what it's supposed to do. Shouldn't get that way, but the expansion tank's bad, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, it's not sucking on helping relieve pressure, then the pressure is always going to over pressurize, it's going to build. Am I wrong about it? Am I right?
No, you're right.
Alright,
You're
so even with the steam has to be 15 PSI. It's rated just for that. It doesn't take a whole lot, like we were saying, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. You know, it just needs to boil to get to 212 and then do what it's supposed to do.
So the common problem for the blowout for the relief valve is normally the expansion tank.
Expansion tank issue.
Yeah.
Expansion tank's bad. The pressure has to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if the tank is not doing the pressure and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, it has to relieve somewhere, and that's when that relief valve comes in. That's what its purpose is for. You know, unless you want to change something in the boiler, like mid-range, like up in here, you just want to release some pressure from the tank or just relieve something from, I would just drain it. Do what you're supposed to do. Wouldn't even mess with it. Just let it do its job.
So an expansion tank could go bad on a steam boiler if, like you're saying, the
You don't
inside
have,
the pipe rusts
you
too
won't
much?
have a, you won't have an expansion tank.
Tanks.
You don't have an expansion tank on a steam boiler. They got auto bleeders already on the
Right,
radiators
right.
themselves. These things on the waters, you see like the air eliminators, the air scoops, the spiral vents. We just installed one not too long ago. The spiral vents, they actually go on the water line. You put it on the water line, and your expansion tank goes underneath for that. It's just like this, like if it's coming across, right? I don't know how to do a spiral vent, but I'm gonna make one today. It'll be looking like that.
That's like one of the roaches off of Super Mario.
It's your tank, it's expensive tank. But this is the air eliminator, and here's it's you know, it's you'll find these on the water boilers, on water, not steam, on water. On the water boilers, what it does is there's your expansion tank here. This is for when you don't have the expansion tank in the ceiling. So we putting the big 60 on, and you putting the big giant 60 on, especially if we're doing any type of repairs that we do as far as silver, platinum, anything like that. It's required that we change and put something in there like an air eliminator. You can have just a regular air scoop, which is like the little green ones. You might see with those with the little auto bleeders that you screw in at the top. You might see those, or you'll see these, the spiral vents. Those are the gold ones that we put in with the auto bleeder on the top. Is already built in. The little bleeder on the top.
Fair warning, if that thing's waterlogged and you take it off, I guarantee you it's a lot heavier than you think it's gonna be.
Yeah, those expansion tanks are heavy, bro.
When they're full of water, they are, because they weigh, what, 2 pounds empty
Yeah,
and about 45 to 50 full?
yeah.
So the auto bleeders, where you normally, how many do you need and where do you normally start? Do they go by each radiator or do you just,
You talk about the which ones for the house, for the steam?
sort of steam?
The steam, if you're replacing one, replace all of them.
So I'm saying like how many do you need? Do you need like,
One.
One per radiator.
One per
One per
radiator.
radiator, alright.
One
Yeah,
per
one
radiator.
per radiator, and then sometimes they'll have bigger ones on the main pipe at the end of it.
Uh-huh.
So if it's a small house, they probably won't have one, but a bigger house where you have, I don't know, say a 30-foot pipe run, there'll be a main bleeder at the end of the main pipe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that one will,
The lady had one in right by her boiler.
At the
And then Rob was saying something about we just gonna change all of them.
Mhm.
How many she got?
It is. If it's a house like that, like Steam, a lot of them, you'll find a couple of them running around. They're big giant radios. You might find one in the living room, dining room. Before you even get up the steps, some of them have it right there. It depends on what type of house you in. Some of them have about 6 or 7 of them. Some of them have about 5 or 6. So, with the water ones, you'll find them just all over kitchen, bathroom, little small mini ones everywhere, just laying around the whole house, basement. You might find them all over. But
so the water has auto bleeders too, or they
no,
just have the key ones?
you got the key.
Yeah,
With the water, at the end of the install, or at the end of the service, whatever you're doing, at the end when it's all filled, it's time to go bleed, you have to manually walk around and bleed.
Water,
Steam just put the valves on and it's going to do it itself.
water, we usually have one auto bleeder right at the boiler itself, which is on the air scoop. The Spirevent is a fancy one, but it's still just an air scoop, or the big, it's like a cast iron egg with a
The big
little
rim.
thing on top of it. Usually the expansion tank is screwed into the bottom of it. There'll be one auto bleeder there, and like everything else, they'll corrode up over time and not work anymore. And once they stop working, they'll either not vent or leak water. Whether or not you think that's bad comes down to what problem is presenting itself. If it's leaking, obviously that's the problem with it. Or if air is developing in the system, your radiator stopped working, you can hear air circulating through, then your auto bleeder may be bad.
Yep, so it'll be like that, the little green cast iron thing he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's an air scoop. It even says air scoop on the thing. But and it's a threaded hole at the bottom of it for your expansion tank to thread in. And at the top, it's a small little teeny little thread for your gold auto ventilator to go on. You just hand, and those things don't need to be cinched down.
Yeah.
They don't need to be tightened, they hand tight. So just thread those in at the top, and then the cap that's on it, unloosen the cap. Don't cinch the cap all the way down tight.
Yeah.
Give some crack in the cap, leave it like, barely on, just on it. Just enough was, nothing can get down inside of it. Just keep the cap on it. It doesn't need to be tightened down. Nothing needs to be channel locked, gripped down. It don't need to be that tight. Just hand tighten it in there. And with this thing, it just gets threaded on, pressed in, or however you choose to do it. Pressed in or sweated in, however you choose to do it. But just they get fitted in with the pipe somehow and just expansion tank to it. And it'll do its job. As the water's heating up in the boiler, as it's starting to circulate and go through, if you listen to it well enough, you can even actually hear it just hissing and spit doing its job at the top as it's coming through. And it stops it from even before you even have to get through your whole house. So it saves a hell of a lot of time with going around bleeding. When you go around bleeding, you won't be bleeding that long because it's pretty much auto bleeding at the bottom before you even get all that air all the way going all the way through your house. And then once you're done and everything's bled through the house, then it take care of itself from the boiler as it's heating up. It'll take care of it down there before you even get through your house. So, and if you have any issues as far as ventilation and stuff like that, with that, in the years to come, then I would definitely check the air scoop itself. But any other questions, concerns, anything? Anybody else want to know? You know about? That's, hey, and that's my goal. I wanted y'all to come and just learn something. If you didn't
Was that
learn
your goal
anything or
coming
learn,
in this morning or when you?
Mayor, his goal is your hole, okay? Just so you
No,
know.
no,
It was on camera.
no.
I'm glad
We're
that
gonna need HR.
I'm glad that if you didn't learn anything, I'm glad you learned something. If you already knew it, that's
I'm
great.
glad it's a refresher for you.
But
Good job.
it is. So
And
did you guys actually learn something?
Cut.
Be on it.
scene.
Thank you, Will. Hey, brother.